right, so the lockdown has been not all that bad for everyone, particularly if you are a binge watcher of these internet-based series. And viewership in general has gone up for most of these series that have been launched during this 2.5-month period. But there are some series that have done particularly well. And you know when a series does well, when its dialogues become the talk of the town, they become water cooler conversations, they're shared as memes, they're shared among friends, and that's exactly what is happening with this Amazon series called Paatal Lok. And I've got the two protagonists with me, Jaideep Ahlawat, also known as Inspector Hathi Chaudhary, from the very famous Outer Jamna Par Thana. Jaideep, thank you so much for joining us on NDTV. And I also have Abhishek Banerjee, also known as Paatal Tyagi, and also more popularly and lovingly, simply because of his love for dogs, known as Hathoda Tyagi. Thank you so much to the two of you. Now, let me tell you, through the course of this series, I want to refer to you guys with your screen names, because that is what is really popular. So, Hathi Ramji, let me begin by saying, I crowdsourced the questions, and a lot of questions have come, and this just shows the love that people have for your character, for you. First of all, how does it feel, this overwhelming love that you have got from people?
It feels great, sir. It feels awesome, because when we were working on it, we loved the script, we loved all the characters, and then we thought that if we reach out to the audience with this kind of honesty in the script and the characters, it's going to be great. But the amount of love we are getting, it's amazing. It's like unreal, and it's great.
Tell me something. Is that accent real? That Delhi police inspector accent? Because trust me, as a person who has stayed in Delhi all his life, I can tell you, I could so relate. I could feel this guy standing right outside my house.
My job is done, sir. Then it means it is real. It is some kind of, and I am so happy that I have been receiving messages from the real police cops, around the world, around the country, which is like, either they have served in Delhi police or somehow they are still serving. And I'm so glad that they loved it. I remember one compliment from one very senior police officer. He said, this is the first time he feels that this is the first time somebody shot a human being rather than a uniform.
Correct.
So I was.
Correct. And you know what, Jaideep, since I've spoken to a lot of these crime beat reporters, they tell me that all cops in the Delhi police admired the amount of research and depth that went into these characters. They were so real and so believable that even cops said, "My goodness, this is real."
I was saying at home to my mom and dad that I hope that Delhi police can give me, honorary Hathi Chaudhary inspector level at least. or maybe DSP or DCP,
Imagine, there'll be a DCP Bhagat around you.
I would be honored.
Only if this could happen. But, on screen, you have all the love. I wish Delhi police was like you, as diligent as you are. Maybe they do their job exactly this way. It's just that we don't get to see it all the time. Abhishek, Hathoda Tyagi, from a person who's famous for his dialogues, who's being loved for his dialogues, to a person who didn't speak at all in this series. I mean, just a Hathoda in your hand, conviction in your eyes, and love for dogs. Your character has become lovable. Did you conceive it this way? Or was it told to you that you've got to act this way?
No. I think I always conceived it that way. I always wanted people to fall in love with Hathoda Tyagi by the end of it. And I knew it was a difficult task because I didn't have any scenes where I could, actually say anything, where you would realize what kind of emotion this guy is going through. But he's a compassionate guy. He's rejected from the society, but he has compassion. He has empathy. The only thing is that he's hopeless towards human beings and the society. And I love him a lot. It's very important for actors also to love their characters, and sometimes you end up hating them also when you're doing something very dark. But here I totally loved him. I totally loved him for his just his being, and I feel sad for him. That's why I think the audience feels sad for him. So it's my
Abhishek,
emotions also.
Yeah. Do you know, Abhishek? I think if I were you, one of the things that I heard about your acting, if I were you, boss, I would have thought that I'm on top of the world. I was told that here is a guy who has the intensity in his eyes of an Irfan Khan. And I was like, whoa, I wish I was Abhishek. To stay quiet and let your eyes and expressions do the talking is so Irfan Khan.
I think it's too early to, I think, accept a compliment like that. I would not at all, compare my performance with him. I think he's great. The greatness he has achieved through his performances is going to live for 100 years or maybe 200 years. So for me to achieve that, for me to, really understand that depth is going to take some time and experience, and I need to really evolve as an actor. But I'm really grateful and thankful for people, that they are, even that small comparison, I think, gives me a lot of hope that maybe someday I'll, prove myself as an actor.
Humble and all, huh? It's nice. It's nice to see the star cast being so humble, down to earth.
But this is
Jaideep.
When somebody says that if the performance was like Irfan sir, and you can't compare that man to anyone. I mean, any actor. If you say to an actor that some people said that you look like Irfan, I'm sure nobody can be more humble than that compliment.
But Jaideep, you've got to admire this as love from the
course.
people. Why are they doing this? This is love, nothing else.
That's why we can. The only option I think as actors we have is to be grateful and not take it.
Correct.
Not take it in our head. That's all.
For both you as well as for both you, Abhishek and Jaideep, I think this question fits well because you guys have been around for a while. Obviously, you look for that one big springboard moment where you take that giant leap in your career. Do you think that this is that series that has been able to float you into an orbit where you wanted to reach? I mean, the big league?
Jaideep can go at least because I hope so, in a sense that if somebody sees Paatal Lok, I used to say that because of my looks and maybe they are very hard and very the roles I used to get are mostly the very dominant characters in terms of their nature. This is the first time I did something which is that was not that dominating. He's the most vulnerable, most lost, sideline character in the society, in the frame where he's living. But the emotions, the trajectory, the arc of emotion he goes through, that's amazing for me as an actor to get them and to portray those emotions. And I'm sure there will be writers and directors and producers who will think that, he can do this, so let's put him here. We can experiment with him, and so definitely it gives you hopes to
I would like to. I think to add to that, I think it's very simple, and I can speak for Jaideep also that we, I think, are actors who wanted to be in the orbit of actors who the filmmakers can trust. It's very difficult to gain that trust. And I'm glad that maybe after this, both Jaideep for sure, like he's done a phenomenal job, and me will have that trust of filmmakers. So we'll have those choices and those variety of characters, I think, which we both are looking forward to.
Do you think, and you can go one after the other, do you think that these OTT platform-based series give people the liberty to exhibit their talent more than conventional platforms? I mean, you can pass this one because it's slightly tricky, but I personally feel that the OTT platforms have brought to us a lot of new, fresh talent, which otherwise we would not have seen or may not have seen, at least that quickly.
I agree with that, Sanket. I agree with that because, see, this is one very, universal platform. It's globally, you can say that. And we see, as an audience also, we see the work of other countries and people that have different language and society. And we feel that their stories are great. How they tell stories, this is amazing. So for us, it's a very new platform. For the last 3-4 years, we are doing this. But I am sure that you're right saying this, that this is a new kind of, opportunities for all of us as a film fraternity, or, So this liberty as a writer, when he gets to write more elaborated stories, more elaborated characters and different stories in terms of, in any sense. So that liberty comes to actors also. If a writer gets the liberty to write great things, it comes to director and writers, and so definitely it's very big opportunity for all of us.
What do you have to say, Abhishek? Do you think that these?
Yeah,
I mean, with that very famous "Tu beer hai" dialogue from the pictures to this, I feel that these OTT platforms have really shaped many new characters. They've made them household names.
Oh yes,
I mean,
totally.
I've stopped watching TV. I only watch these series.
Yes, and I think I realized that long way back. I think once pictures released, I mean, I remember that I did that one scene just for fun because all of them were friends and some hard cash. That's why you do it. And then when I saw the response not only in India, I saw it outside where I would travel in Germany and I would. The kids would come to me and say, "Tu beer hai." As I go to Tamil Nadu, which is a non-Hindi speaking audience, and they would come to me and say, "Tu beer hai." So all kind of accents and all kind of everybody loved that, and that's what gave me hope that this one space where actors can experiment, because it's very difficult for us to experiment because once you become popular, people would like to cast you in the in certain characters. They would want to believe that you can do those characters better than others. But what's happening in the web is, and thanks to the makers, thanks to the platforms, they are really digging in about the script. They are actually concerned about the content.
Content is king on OTT.
Oh yes, and that should be the king for any medium, because I think that is when the quality and the quality of filmmaking will improve.
Also, the freedom that you get on these OTT platforms. I mean, thank God there is no censorship, and there should be none. Jaideep, do you think that and this also is a huge responsibility, that there is no censorship, and thus you've got to be creative, but at the same time not abuse the platform.
Exactly. I do agree with that. There is a self-censorship on this platform, and people. I always say, if we have if we believe in an adult who is 18 years old and he can vote and choose the right and wrong, he can choose right and wrong what is on the platform. And as filmmakers, as film fraternity, it also gives you kind of responsibility to say the right things and tell right stories. Sometimes it might be depending on the audience, you can handle that. And but this is a very responsible thing also, but this is a great opportunity also.
Correct. Now, one thing
I think it gives.
Yes, Abhishek. Sorry, you were saying, Abhishek.
Yeah, so I'm saying that it also gives the actors the opportunity to, really flesh out their character. You can actually work on your graph. You can actually work on your backstories. Sometimes the backstories are added in the script, like, and especially like a character like Hathoda Tyagi and Paatal Lok, where you don't really know about his past. I mean, but you see it. You see it in the show. So all of that really adds value to the entire performance. When you have that much of time to explore.
Now, Jaideep and Abhishek, one by one, how much of I want to talk a little bit about the research that went into this series, because boy, oh boy, the number of people who have commented, from cops to journalists to colleagues to friends, they say this has to be the most heavily researched show from India. Jaideep, what went into the research to understand Delhi police well, to understand concepts well? How much is it borrowed from the book Story of My Assassins? Just tell us the backstory now.
See, the script I get is from Sudeep sir and the team, writers team, and I never read that book. I didn't even know for a longer time that it was somewhere loosely based on that. So that doesn't matter to me, because I have the script and that's my Bible for this portrayal. And as far as Hathiram is concerned, I never saw him as a police cop, just a police cop in the true sense, if I say. I always see Hathiram as a human being, which is, having a uniform on his shoulders also, which is great responsibility also. But somewhere in the journey, he's been sidelined, or he himself thinks that he's not worthy, because nothing great happening to him, nothing positive happening to him. But he still has that hope to reach out someday and get the best out of his life, from his life and the relationships he has. So the most of the things comes from the script also, only because greatly written, well-defined character by Sudeep sir. And don't need to go out to actually meet someone specifically to get out those nuances, because most of them are there. But I need to understand those
No, you know, those little touches, Jaideep, like I'll tell you, I saw the series. For instance, your house, right? The fact that there was a brother-in-law who would get some random stuff.
Yeah.
And then, you know, these are, for anyone who has seen a Delhi police colony, who has seen, these are very, very real things. They happen.
Yes, but I can't take that credit, because they were there in the script, and Abhishek was the casting director. He casted those characters, and somebody conceived those characters, and they were there. I just had to believe in them and jump into the situation, because I believe Hathiram is there, and he is dealing all with these characters and this house he has. And from Haryana, I have seen those things also. So I never had this the confrontation, not believing in this situation, because I have seen people like this. If my father would have not been a teacher or a cop, होते अगर वो by chance, तो वो ऐसे ही होते शायद हाथी साहब जैसे.
Absolutely.
So we have seen people like this. We have seen people dealing all these things.
That's the thing. A good director also needs a good actor. Otherwise, it just won't click. It has to
But
click.
most importantly, I think
Yeah,
the entire credit of research has to go to the writing team. I think Sudeep sir, or Sagar and all.
That's a big plus for your series, actually.
Yes. I mean, that's why I think we call Sudeep sir the Master Ji. We used to call him Master Ji on set. Because whenever in doubt, whenever we are not able to understand something on the script, it's almost he has documented. It's almost the script. If you read it,
for us,
it's almost
responsibility. If I say that our responsibility as an actor is to just believe in that situation and those characters, and give that your heart and soul into it, and your sweat or maybe blood also. We have given that. So that was a good journey, because you need to feel those characters, you need to feel those emotions.
Yeah,
and is there.
Okay, Jaideep, a couple of questions now to you. I think we have a race against time. I want to fit in as many questions as I can because your time is limited. There's one question that comes in from a friend, again, a journalist. There's one dialogue. You go to some place, I'm forgetting which place, and you go to an auto wala, and he says, आइए बैठिए, आप कौन है, पत्रकार हैं, you don't seem to say much, and then he says, आइए आपको एक सस्ते होटल में ले चलते हैं, क्योंकि अच्छे पत्रकारों को सस्ते होटल की जरूरत पड़ती रहती है. And every journalist who is honest, essentially from the core of their heart, they relate with this. Go to a small town, look for a cheap hotel. Yeah.
Imagine the
irony is that even I was not a journalist, I was a police cop, I still don't need those sasta hotel.
Who thought of this dialogue, by the way?
Sorry?
Who thought of this dialogue?
I'm sure Sudeep sir. Somebody has written.
I can tell you as a journalist, boy, this was genius. Well researched
yes,
and genius.
It was. Definitely it was genius. Wow.
Okay. Abhishek, now here's the thing. We also were speaking to the guy who formed the UP STF. I think he tweeted and he ended up finishing organized crime also in Uttar Pradesh. This is all real stuff. Huh? I'm not making this up. He's the DG RPF as of this moment. And he saw the series as a person who has dealt with organized crime so closely. He felt that this character of Donalia was actually Dadua, the very famous, dreaded gangster of Uttar Pradesh, Dadua. This Donalia character was based on that. Do you think that most of this research was drawn from real life?
I think for me, as a preparation only, I was reading a lot about crime stories. I was just generally reading about, crime in India. And see, it's whether it's Dadua, whether it's somebody else, I don't think that is important. The idea of these god-like figures in these places where maybe somewhere the system is not doing justice to, a certain I don't know, certain members of the society. I think that was the entire point, that how maybe from our society only we get these Dunalias who are in a way saviors for many and a criminal for many. So yeah, I think the entire show is somewhat an adaptation of the society we live in, and that's the truth.
All right. As I wrap up, Jaideep, very quickly, have you ever been to the outer Jamna Power Station? Do you even know where it is?
No, I have been there, Lakshmi Nagar and all these places, but never the specific station. And I believe me, I wanted to visit one of the two stations there, but then I deliberately denied it because we had this set we made in Bombay, and I didn't want to see that original police station. And then if I reach here on the set, I don't want to have two different images for that. So I deliberately left that visit. But I have been to Delhi police stations, whether it's Jamnapar or South Delhi or West Delhi, Piragadi, and because I'm from Haryana, I have seen those police stations. Yeah.
And how often do you come across a Virk-like character in your life, in real life?
In real life, we always see them. Always see them. From the day we are in schools, we have seen monitors like that, Class monitors.
Well, Jaideep as well as Abhishek, it was an absolute pleasure, and I'm not going to embarrass the two of you. I know Abhishek hates the question when is season 2 coming. We'll watch it when it comes. But I just hope it does, because this is definitely an amazing series. We want to see a film.
I always say to everyone that I'm ready. The Inspector Hathiram Chaudhary is ready to report on duty any day.
Hathiram Chaudhary is ready. Hathiram Chaudhary is ready for season 2. What about Hathoda Tyagi?
Yes.
Oh, well,
ready?
I don't know. I'm ready. And this is appeal to Mr. Sudeep Sharma to, bring him back.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. It was amazing
you.
Talking to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And good luck for the future as well.
Thank you so much.